Hey YouTube, it's Mutter Mayhem here. Here soon I plan on changing my YouTube name to something about Subarus. I was asked to make this video by one of the guys on YouTube. If I'm not mistaken, his name is Capboy55. He asked me how to change the lights in your climate control unit. It is a very simple change to do for the lights, but it takes time, takes patience, and it is very fragile to work with. Before you go take it out, over here on the passenger side, you have to take off the cable that controls the heat and cool air. Give me just a second and I'll show you where everything's at. Alright, we're over here on the passenger side. If you come down under the dash, I don't know how well you can see it, but the cable is right here. You want it in the hot position. You'll have to take it off of a clamp back here. There we go. There's a clamp back there. Take it off of that with it in the hot position. Pull this forward, it'll twist, and it'll just pop right off of that. The cable is held in this little hook area. Once you've got that off, you can start up here. There are two screws, one right here and one right here. Take those off and show you what's next. Alright, I've got those screws out, cup holders over here. What you will do next, put your hand right under here and this will just pop out. Well, mine's simple, yours may not be. You'll have to disconnect this four-way flasher switch to make it easier to get in there. The little button is right on top. Sometimes it can be hard to get in there, get to it. Right here. Okay. So now what you gotta do, which I'm not actually gonna take this one out, because there's a problem with it. I'm having to have it held up by a piece of wood back here. This connector over here is messed up. But there are 4 screws to take it out. 2 over here and 2 over here. Then when you get in the back, there are 3 connections. The main connection right there, the blower motor switch connections right there, and the AC connection. I don't know how well you can see it, but right there. Barely pry it out. Get the screws out, barely pull it out. Be careful with the connections, just in case. And when you do that, your heater control, or not heater control, the AC and heat cable is right down here, if you can barely see it. Then you'll get that, pull it out, and you'll be done in here. Yeah, you could change out the lights in the seat. It's just not so easy to me. Alright guys, we're back here in the back of my Legacy wagon. As you can see, mine's still in there, but here's my old one, the original to it. You can see that I don't have this out or in it. If I can remember correctly, you just pop these 2 off up here and this one up here, and it slides out after you just pop the knob off of it. Then the AC switch, I can't remember what all is holding it in, but with this one, just push it out. There is a light inside of here, right there on the bottom. Then what you do next is right here, pop this switch out. Alright, sorry about that. I had to get a little screwdriver to pop that switch out of there. They're not easy to pop out. You do have to be careful if you don't want to scratch it up or anything. Next, there are a few screws. As you can tell where two of them was over here. Take those two screws out. And you should be able to slowly slide this portion out on the back. It's the part that the cable is going on to. It's got the switch right here. Be very gentle and slide it out. Okay, once you got it slid out, that's about as far as you can get, maybe 1/4 inch, maybe close to ½ an inch. Not much. I forgot to mention that after you take the screws out, it don't just easily slide. There are these little clips back here. Snap it back, pry it up, and then it'll slide out. It's on both sides. This one over here's broke. Then what you'll do is you'll get a screwdriver. These are kind of weird. You pry up down here at the back on both sides, and this top portion of it will slide off. Alright, I've got that slid off of here. Next thing you will do is there are two screws, one over here and then one right there. Be very careful. Obviously, like I said, they are very, very gentle, fragile. They will break. This one broke, which is why I had to get a new one. Once you get those screws out, there's these two clips up here. Be very gentle when trying to pop them up, because you could possibly break it. I'm not too worrisome about this one because it's already broke. But just to show you, I'm going to do this off camera, of course. And this won't just pop right out. I mean, yeah, you could go on ahead and change the bulbs. There's one back there, one right here, and there should be one right here. I used T3 bulbs, which are the same bulbs as your fog light switch, rear window defrost switch, and cruise control switches. They are all the same. But these, what I had to do is I had to grind off the little nubs that help hold it click in to where they was barely holding, like barely any material. I don't know if I can get this out. Yeah. I don't know how well you all can see it. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see it, but I barely had to grind it or sand it a little bit to where there's barely any material. See, yeah, there you go. Just barely sand it, and yes, these are LEDs. I got the blue LEDs, T3 bulbs. Remember, T3 bulbs. But when you go to pop these out, it just makes it easier on you to change the bulbs. Remember where all your switches go, even if you have to take a picture of it, because you will have to pop all of these out. Be very careful doing it. Alright, I'm back. I'm not too worried about how mine are. Your alls might be the same. Just lay them down there to be in order. To make that pop out easier, it's best to push on that clear piece right there. All that is to help make the light glow around easier. And you can pop this out. Be careful. Sometimes, if you're just starting to do this, I've done a pretty good amount already. This will come out, and so will 6 of these. All these are is they clamp onto the back of these switches. Well, not the switches, but the covers. They pop onto the back of those. And on the inside, how it works, I don't know if you can see those two little knobs on there, but those little knobs connect to those switches. When you're in here, you can bring this off. Mine's easy because plastic is broke, but you have to be very careful doing it. These little knobs back here on each one are what holds it in. Alright, apparently mine wasn't broke on this one. I just got a screwdriver, put behind here and pried it forward, and now this board assembly will come out. Be careful about the gray cable because that is very fragile as well. Now you can get in here and change the bulbs with ease. Putting it back is just as simple, if not even more simple than it was. All it is just get it, align it. If it's not aligned, you can tell because it will move. This is moving, but very, very little, and I can't pull it all the way back out. Not just that, but you can probably barely see in there. It's not aligned. There it is, it snapped. Now it don't move, and it don't come up. When you're going to put everything back together, make sure you get these clips and just push them all down in there. This aligns up right here. I don't know if you can see that little clip piece, and it slides in right there. There's two of them. You have to start it at a weird angle, or at least I do, and then be careful just pushing it down in there. There you go. Make sure the board is in here when you go to put it on. If not, you're gonna have a lot of trouble. If you want to, you can go ahead and slide this cover back over here. Don't really matter if you do it now or later. But putting this back in here, you have to be careful about where your LED lights right here get aligned. I don't know if you can see, but they go in these little holes. There is more of a space over here, just like there is right over here. Be careful when doing it. You could possibly break them. I haven't, and I've took them apart like crazy. Make sure it is aligned over here on this side and on the other side. Mine is, and it just slides in. Just get it, make sure it clips in right here. Make sure you put your screws in. It's best to leave this off. I just thought about it. Leave this little plastic cover off so you can put the screw over here in. It's easier. Put that back in. Put your little clip pieces on. Don't forget to slide this in. Be sure the light goes down, which this is also a T3 light, and just slides in there. But 3 lights up here. If you want to change that one, that would be 4 T3 LEDs, and you would have to sand down the little ears that help hold it in. And then putting it back inside the car is very, very simple. It's just like taking it out. Be careful. Up here you could possibly break it. This one did. had a little clamp right here that helps hold it in to come off, and we couldn't find it anymore. Make sure everything's aligned back underneath on the passenger side. And before you go putting everything back together, all the trim pieces, I would check to make sure you have the polarity correct of the lights, because it does matter if you're putting LEDs in. They do have a polarity. Be careful about that. Also, I just remembered, whenever you go putting the little covers back on, it will take a little bit of force to pop these down, and it might scare you, might not, but now once you pop them in, you'll be fine. I hope this video helped you. It's person who asked me to film this is Copboy 55. I hope I'm saying that correct. Thank you for asking me to make this video, so not just will you be able to do this, but in case if anybody else wants to do this. Thank you for watching. Please like, rate, and subscribe.